Hi, everyone, and welcome to Rescripted Podcast, where we could celebrate the great things in life, share about the not so great parts, and find out how we can rewrite those challenges, turn them into insightful moments that will lead us to change, to growth, to happiness, and empowerment, all so that we can live the life we truly want to experience. I am Amy Quiles, your personal development coach and host. And in this podcast, we cover different mindsets and behaviors that keep high achievers from living their aligned life. As the founder of the internal constraint framework, there is many things that I found that are common in high achievers. A lot of the time, they are hard workers, very devoted, they're very goal oriented, which allows them to meet their milestones. And although they'll look very successful on the outside, for some reason, something internally doesn't feel quite right. And sometimes it can make you feel like you failed. Sometimes it makes you feel like you haven't given enough. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you are just simply out of alignment. And the hardest part of it all is not always so much that you're going through it, is that you have no one to share it with. You see, as high achievers, you have everything. You have external success. And how dare you complain? How dare you say that it's not enough? So there's a secret, silent struggle that they have to bear alone because if they try to share it with other people that although they have all the success, they feel empty, they feel unfulfilled, they feel a void. People don't see that internally. They just see the success externally. And sometimes when they try to look for someone for advice, they're kind of told to, in a sense, like they're just being selfish, they're being ungrateful, and all these negative annotations come to it when in fact that's not how they feel at all. But no matter how much they try to push that feeling away, that quiet but persistent feeling that something is off is still there. So they become a little restless and they become a little overwhelmed with trying to please the masses and try to keep the success going while secretly struggling because they feel out of alignment. And I'm here to tell you that it's not an indicator that you're broken. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's actually the opposite. It is your intuition signaling to you that you are out of alignment. And that is what I go over in my internal constraint framework. As a high achiever, you are naturally a problem solver and a go getter, right? So fixing problems is your thing. You are a high achiever. You are going to execute your goal. But this is something a little bit different because you're not able to fix it trying to just feel the success of what your culture, right? Like society expectations. You've met those goals, you've achieved them, you've even excelled past what the goal was originally. So you're even thinking like, what is the friction here? If I've more than succeeded, I've propelled beyond what I was imagining, why do I still feel like this feeling of inadequacy? And the thing is that very same reason that has motivated you is the very same reason that's holding you back. You see, when you build and you build to achieve, you really have to ask yourself, what are you building to achieve? What is the ultimate outcome of that? And yes, a lot of us are going to say income, right? Because that's why we do things. That's how you kind of are able to continue to survive in society. Yes, that's a given. But truly, to the core, what are you building that success for? That is where we really hone in my program, because at the end of the day, when we follow somebody else's blueprint, then yes, there's going to be a certain metric of success that you're going to get. And it's the success that you are experiencing right now, the external one. But the reason why it feels hollow is because you haven't listened to yourself. You haven't allowed the beautiful elements of you to tap in so that you can really take it to the next level where you're supposed to, where it feels purposeful, where it feels like it's really something that you're called to do. And the reason why you're feeling that internal constraint signal pop up is because it's God kind of letting you know come back to me because I want to let you know what I placed in you so that you can learn how to utilize it the correct way. So it's kind of letting you know you drift off a little bit and maybe not too far. Sometimes you're not really too far. It's just you're not using it in the right perspective. And those signals are going to help you realize what's out of alignment because you're going to feel what is synchronized, right? And then you're going to feel where there's a resistance to something. And that's where we really focus and you're able to get clarity. And once you get the clarity, then you're able to move out those objections and be able to move forward and really feel fulfilled in the things that you do. Because that signal in it of itself is your new blueprint. It is not the enemy. It is not an indicator that you are broken. It is not an indicator that you are inadequate. It is just a signal that you are not utilizing your blueprint. To let you know that you are not alone and you are absolutely not broken. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And if you say yes to all of them or any of them, it is an indicator that you are, in fact, experiencing internal constraint. The first one is the one that we already spoke about, which is you have success, but you feel unfulfilled. It's like no matter the degree of success, you still feel like this hollow, void, internal, missing piece of it all. So you can't really enjoy it to the max. Everybody else is celebrating and you get to celebrate for a moment, but there's still something making you feel like this isn't it. There's still more. If you're feeling that, good chance that you are experiencing internal constraint. Question number 2 is if you are more scared of wasting your potential than you are of even failing at all. You see, as high achievers, you don't mind failing because there's wins in that. There's lessons, there's ability to pivot, there's ability to uncover things in a different area. So a failure isn't always a loss. It's just giving you more data. So as high achievers, we're not scared of that, right? I include myself in that as well. But what we are very, very nervous about and what we really protect so much is our potential. That's why we work so hard because we want to be able to utilize and maximize every skill that we have. And although we're using all of them, or maybe we're hyper focused on some of them, we're still feeling unfulfilled. We're still feeling like there's still more to do. And then that brings you to burnout and that brings you to feeling even exhausted and still lost. Well, if you're experiencing that, you're scared of wasting your potential. So you really work overtime. You're more scared of that than you are failing. Chances are you are experiencing internal constraint. Question number 3. If you feel like everything that you're working for, everything that you're doing, everything that you're building on, you don't do the internal check for yourself to give yourself that validation of saying, yes, this is it. There's still a part of you that needs somebody else to give you that validation of being seen, whether it's through recognition, whether it's through praise, or whether it's through some type of accolade. You need that in order to feel successful. Then you're still seeking for external approval, and that means you're still working on somebody else's blueprint. So if you're still feeling like you don't give yourself the credit unless you feel seen from somebody else's accolades, somebody else giving you praise, and chances are you may be struggling with internal constraint. Good news is that you do not have to stay there, and I can actually help you with this a lot quicker than you would imagine. I have created a quiz. It is called the Internal Constraint Quiz, and it is completely free, and you're able to go through it. And it does assess the 5 areas, major areas, where high achievers struggle with internal constraint the most. It allows you to get your personalized score, and then it lets you know which workbook is best for you. Because before we can truly get aligned, we need to get an understanding of what we're experiencing, right? We need clarity first, and then we're able to move forward the right way. We need to know where those heavy burdens live first to know how to lift them off and get clear, right? So we have a better path to alignment. Because the beauty of it all is that once you really start getting into alignment, that pressure that you used to feel, well, it starts to get replaced. It starts to get replaced with peace, with understanding, with right direction. And at the end of the day, as you see, there are steps, right? You need to complete one before you get to the other. But nonetheless, you're moving in the right direction. And you start to feel that conviction. You start to feel better. And you start to listen to your intuition and know that what once felt unfulfilling, you're understanding that it is a journey that you're going on. And you may start to feel like, oh, You see the fog clearing up, and you really start realizing that it is a journey. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are just in the wrong direction. And there's another beautiful tip. This isn't one more thing that you have to put on your plate. It's not another task to manage. It's actually the opposite. You get to clear things off of your plate so that you have a clear understanding of what you get to move towards, where you get to navigate to, where you get to steward moving forward, and it's not all about doing more goals, more achievements, more tasks. It's actually the opposite. You start to get into this alignment that starts to create compound efforts that gives you the results. So it's not all on your shoulders. Now, a disclaimer, do not get me wrong. I'm not saying you won't do anything. All I'm saying is that you're going to see that what your tasks are going to be different from your identity. There are things that you're going to have to do in order to get this done. However, that won't be your identity. Being the laborer is not going to be your identity anymore. It's going to be the proof of the impact. And that's what you really want. So if that sounds like you and you are ready to clear the noise and get back into alignment, then the first step is I invite you to take the internal constraint quiz. Find out where your bottlenecks are that are keeping you away from your peace and keeping you away from your fulfillment. And after that, I don't want you to just sit on your results. A lot of us just get the results, we get the knowledge, and we just sit with it. But of course, I will not leave you alone. I will actually have a different set of workbooks that you can do. You can select one if you just want to start with one and see how you feel. But if you have all 5, you can get the 5. And like I said, you actually end up getting one free. And they help you. There are different exercises that you go through that help you find your alignment. You see where it started, where it may have originated, and where you stand in it now. Because I don't want to overwhelm you. The most powerful thing, the most important thing is clarity. And these are what these workbooks are meant to do. Show you the clarity of where it first originated for you and where you currently stand now. Because once we have that information, then the second tier is then to get into alignment. But that is for a different episode. So as I close this out, I want to remind you one more time. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too much, and you are absolutely enough. You have just been a high achiever operating off of pressure instead of peace. But after you take the quiz, you're going to know the difference. And once you take the Getting Back on Track workbook bundle, you're going to feel the difference and you're going to be ready to get aligned. And all that is going to be your next steps of alignment and peace and clarity and understanding, conviction, purpose, and all those beautiful things that you've been hungry for. You're going to start experiencing them. And I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you enjoyed this episode and feel like it was insightful, then I ask you to please rate it, like it, and subscribe. And share it with someone you feel will enjoy it. I'll be back here next week and we will continue to discuss matters regarding personal development. Take care, guys. Have a blessed week, and I'll see you next time.